Hey guys, it's been a while since I made one of these videos, so bear with me. I know that you guys have a substitute today, so I just wanted to do a quick intro. I'm so sorry if I cough through this, but let's try it out. So today we are going to fully move into taking a dividend and dividing it by a two-digit divisor. So with that comes a little bit more think box, a little bit more space needed in order to sorry, in order to get the problem thought out. So on your desk workspace, you're going to need a little bit more. So I just have a little just a little picture here. You're going to need your whiteboard and you're going to need some lined paper. So the reason for both things is that on one of them is where the actual math problem is going to be. That's where I want to see all of your actual division work, the actual problem, what you're using, how you're subtracting, all of that final answer. The other thing, the lined paper, that's going to be for your think box, where you're doing out some more challenging, higher level thinking about your divisor. So if your divisor were 22 or 46, you're over there thinking about what are the multiples of 22, what are the multiples of 46. Now, I'm not saying you have to do your division problem on the whiteboard and you have to do your think box on the line paper. You could go either direction. You could have your actual division problem on the line paper and use the whiteboard for the think box. That's completely up to you, but I am expecting you to use both things today. I want one nice clean area for the work of the actual division problem and another one that has all of your other math as you're thinking and trying to figure out multiples and groups of things. Okay. So I'm going to do the first problem with you, and then the other two, you guys can work together with your substitute in order to work through and get those solved for our lesson today. So our first problem is, suppose you need 260 yards of string to fly kites at a festival. String comes in balls of 75 yards. How many balls of string do you need to buy? So thinking about this as a word problem, we first want to start thinking about, okay, well, when I get an answer, what kind of an answer, what do I have to do with it? Am I going to round it? Am I going to drop it? Or am I going to use that remainder to come up with this? So let's think about real life here. Okay. I go to the store, I can buy like string in these balls and 75 yards. I need a grand total of 260 yards for the requirements at the festival. So we see yards is our label for the dividend that we're going to divide. And we talked about last week when it's measurement, we usually use it. So I'm going to circle that for right now. Give me a second here. Okay, we usually say, oh, we're going to use it. At the end, we're going to think about that. Does it make sense to turn our remainder into a fraction? Okay, so thinking real life, can I go into the store and buy the answer as a fraction? Okay, so let's go through solving this. Right now, what you see, this is like the nice, clear place that you want to show your work. I'm not showing the side piece of paper or whiteboard for think boxing, but I am going to kind of draw it off here to the side. You're going to need much more space than this. This is just an example. So in order to solve 260 divided by 75, I need to start thinking about the multiples of 75. Okay, do I want to start with figuring out 75 times 1, or can I go 75 times 10? Will that work? Well, thinking about this, well, 75 times 10 is 750, and whoop, that's too big already, so I'm going to cancel that out right away. I'm not going into my 10s, 20s, 30s. So I'm going to think about 75 times 1, okay? Well, that's an easy one. That's 75. But 75 times 2, that might not be as easy for me to think about. So I have a couple options, and I'm going to need a little bit more workroom here. So, because that little box isn't going to do it for me, you have two options. You can, in your think box, on your paper where you're doing all of your think boxing, you're figuring out your multiples, somewhere you can do one of two things. You can, just for right now, I'm going to use this space, you can do 75 times 2. And if you're comfortable with standard algorithm doing this, 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1, so that's 150. Okay. Now, if you're not comfortable with standard algorithm multiplication, another option could be, I'm going to erase that, give myself a little room. Another option could be that you could go the repeated addition route, and you could do 75 plus 75. Okay, so that's 10, regroup the 1, that's 150. So same answer, okay? So 150, we're getting closer to 260, but not quite there. So now we're going to do times 3. So once again, I could do 75 times 3, figure that out. Or if I'm going the adding route, I could be like, okay, this was 175. This was whoops. Ooh, hello. I didn't mean to do it there. Okay, this was 175. This is the answer when there are, I told you guys it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Okay, is the answer, and then I can just keep going. Hey, let's add 75 again. 5, 7 plus 5 is 12. Oh, I'm at 225, and that's my answer for 3 of them. So I'm thinking I'm getting pretty close to 260. But hey, let me check 75 times 4. So let's add, I'm running out of space here. Let's add 225. Sorry guys if this is a mess. You know I want you to be a bit more organized than this, but I just don't have enough room on the screen. 5 plus 5 is 10. 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm at 300 if I go to a fourth 75. So woohoo, too big. So we're going to go backwards. I'm going to get rid of all of this to get it out of the way since I didn't have my 2 separate things. This is kind of a point of why you need that separate whiteboard and line paper when we get into these bigger divisors. So we're going to use, we are going to use 75 times 3, which is 225. And we're going to subtract. I can, if I have nothing, 0, I cannot subtract 5. So I'm going to reduce. This regroup. This becomes 5. This becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. 2 minus 2 is nothing. So then I have 35. Can't make any more groups of 75. So right now, my answer is 3, remainder 35. So I took 260 yards, broke it down into groups of 75, and I have 3 groups of 75, which means 3 balls of string, but then I have 35 yards left over. So can I turn that into a fraction? Can I say I need 3 and 35 75th balls of string? Can I walk into Hobby Lobby, Michael's, wherever, craft store, Walmart, and say, hey, I need 3 and 35 75th balls of string? No, they would look at you like you're crazy. So how many balls of string do you actually need? In this case, we can't use that as a fraction. We actually need to take our answer and round it up, because in this case, that remainder is important enough that it needs to be included. So our final answer here is going to be not 3, not 3 and 35 75ths, but we need 4 balls of string. Now, that means we're going to have too much, but that's okay. We have everything that we need for the festival. Okay, guys, there's 2 more problems. I'm going to let you work those out with a substitute. Think about what your final answer is. Help each other out. I know you got this. I have faith in you. Good luck.